Hi, Shruti, can you see me?
Hello, hi. Yes, I can see you. Can you hear me well?
Yes, you're audible. Perfect. Thank you so much
Okay,
for joining
sure.
in just in time. We were just waiting for you. Firstly, a very good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining in and giving your precious time to Onsurity's Wellness Wednesday. A very good evening to all the attendees who've joined in today. Really looking forward to our session on yet another scintillating topic around art forms as therapy. And with us today, we have Shruti Garg, who is our guest speaker for the day. And please allow me to quickly introduce Shruti to all of you. So, Shruti is an HCPC UK registered therapist, a drama therapist, trained at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, London University. Shruti is a certified queer affirmative therapist, a comic and an art therapist, and a Manushala expert. And today she's gonna be, taking our session on a lot of things around drama and drama-led therapy, right? We're gonna learn a lot about how we're gonna be seeing how a lot of art forms, including drama, music, and other things that are correlated to art forms and art form of therapy are actually very helpful when it comes to understanding how emotions work and enables one to express better. So today's session is gonna be really interesting. I request all of you to please participate with us. Feel free to raise your questions, put down your questions on chat. You can also use the reaction stickers if you want to ask any question to Shruti. However, we'll be having a 15-minute Q&A session towards the end. That's when you can, sort of put down your questions and Shruti would be answering them to you. Once again, thank you so much, Shruti, for joining us. And over to you for today.
Thank you so much for that introduction, Abhishek. So before we start, like I'm new to Microsoft Teams, so would like to just ask, like, how many participants are here today?
Yeah, so we have about 40 people who've joined us,
Okay.
50 odd people. And it's totally fine. I think a lot of us are new to Teams, and I think it's a lot of. I think we used to conduct sessions on Zoom first, and we've also recently moved on to Teams because our latest topics have been a lot around art forms of therapy, and we really want our attendees to sort of interact with the speaker directly, and feel free to show up themselves on the camera and verbally ask questions rather than typing, because I think a lot of people are also joining from offices while they have like a 1 hour break or something. So, yeah. And I have a very bad cold. So, please excuse me, all of you, today if I am a little not sounding well. But yeah, thank you so much again, Shruti. Please go ahead.
Yeah, high five for that. So I also have a really bad cold thanks to Delhi's pollution. So like my voice will remain like this throughout the session. Um, so in today's session, so it will require us to do some activities together, like even if your video is off, even if you can do the activity later, because it's not something which I can tell you that do this and your stress will run away. It's something that you will have to engage with me together to see like how it's impacting you. And there is no right or wrong to way to participate in the activities, like just feel free to use the chat box to give out your suggestions. And first I would like to invite you all to participate in a Mentimeter word cloud and a poll. So for that, I would like Tamanna and there is one more person from Manushala. If we could um, share the screen and share the link for the Mentimeter.
Yes, Padma is doing that.
Okay. And those of us who might be new to the concept of Mentimeter, like I'll just make you aware. So, in your chat box, you will see a link. Once you click on the link, it will take you to a question. You just have to type in your answer there. And once everyone has given their answers, we will share the screen to show you everyone's answers. So like it will be anonymous, like your name won't be mentioned there, but as a group we'll get to see a word cloud of all of our answers.
But you can share your screen as well. Yeah.
So different diverse words. Someone wrote husband, bad mood, anger, relationships. Yes. Palpitation. Yeah. Pressure. Gym in your neighbor. Quick. Bad mood. Irritation. I think a lot of us have written pressure. Headache. Yeah. Work. Work. Most of us have written that. Once you have written down your input, just spend some time looking at the screen, looking at everyone's answers. Anxiety, angry, someone has written in the chat box.
We have only 23 people joined on Mentimeter. I would request other people also to engage in it. So the link is in the chat box and the code is also in the chat box.
Pain, hair fall. I think a lot of us have mentioned about, like the physical impact of stress, like how it shows up. The headache, pain, eye burning, breathlessness, palpitation. And I think two or three people have also mentioned about hurried and quick, when the pace has to be quick. And some of us associate relationship with stress. And um, just spending a few more seconds with the answers. Just noticing where you resonate, where you do not resonate. And now would request Padma to share the next slide and the next code.
Hello. Anji.
What words come to you when we say the word self care? This is a word which is really used these days quite a lot. So, like, would really like to invite all of you to give your inputs to us.
Shruti,
Just
we
like
have
music. Mm-hmm.
we have responses on chats as well, so you can look at that.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yes, those of you participating through chat, like I'm looking at your responses as well. A lot of responses around body again, good BMI, food, fitness, exercise, and then some of us have mentioned about the different activities that support us, like the podcast, music, workout, traveling. And just really noticing here, like how different self care can look for all of us. For someone, it can look like skincare, for someone, it can look like healthy eating, for someone, it looks like music. I think a lot of people have mentioned music here. Okay, thank you for your responses. Now, let's move on to our next survey, to the next presentation. Do you find self care very easy, very hard? I don't care about self care.
Yeah, those who are not able to join Mentimeter, there's another code given by Tamanna, 37284356.
Right now, very hard is winning. 12 responses for very hard. It's reminding me of कौन बनेगा करोड़पति का audience poll. Hmm. Some of us do find it easy. Someone wrote, what is the real definition of self-care? And the reason why I kept these questions is that, sometimes how social media, especially during the pandemic, has been influencing our idea of self-care. Sometimes, we might forget, like, all of us have an individual definition about self-care. It really depends upon our own cultural context, it really depends upon our economic resources, it really depends upon our family context, and many multiple things. So in here, like, I'll really encourage us to, be able to explore our own individual unique relationship with self-care. If you're not able to join the survey, you can put your answers on the chat box. So most of us find self-care very hard. So now can we move on to the next slide?
Is Padma presenting the screen?
Yes.
Okay, okay, all right.
Do you feel a pressure to self care because of social media? Yes, no, maybe. Some of us do, some of us don't. Okay, thank you for sharing your responses. I think most of us said no, and some people in the chat box have shared mixed answers. So now, can we move on to our next slide, which is perhaps the last slide for today?
That is the last slide, Shruti.
Ah, okay, okay. Okay, so I think someone had even asked in the chat box if it's going to be only survey for today. So that's not the case. I just kept it because I think it just increases the number of participation because not all of us are comfortable with our videos on. So I kept it so that I can get an idea about the nature of the group. So now I'll be doing some activities with you. And those of us who are comfortable can switch on your cameras and participate along with me, and those of us who have their videos off like would really encourage you to participate in it alongside. I'll just keep checking the chat box if there is anything. Okay. First of all, we'll just start with bringing our attention upon where we are sitting right now, like the space we are in. Like, we don't have to look at the screen at the moment, we just look around us anywhere other than the screen, the room we are sitting in, um, the chair or the couch, how uh, your chair is supporting you to sit at the moment. And now, gently bringing our attention to how we are breathing right now. We don't have to change how we are breathing, but just bringing our attention to it. And now, this is a very small grounding exercise, step by step, which you can practice in your routine as well. So, like, I'll just demonstrate it for you. So, we start with our own selves, and first, we'll follow a breathing routine. So, breathing activity might feel difficult for some of us. That's completely okay. Like, we don't have to force ourselves to feel relaxed after the activity necessarily. So first we bring our arms forward, and if that's not possible, we can take our arms up. So we inhale while taking our arms up, and we exhale as we bring our arms down. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Hi Padma. Inhale and exhale. Hmm. And now this time we'll exhale with a sigh out. Like, we have to take out all the tiredness, all the frustration, anything that we have been feeling through our work. So inhale and exhale. Whew. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Ooh. Okay. And now we are moving to the space we are sitting in right now. So, quickly, in the chat box, we name any three things that we see around us along with their color. In the chat box, you write. I'm also writing in the chat box. Yes, amazing. And now, like, we'll really see, like, this is a race, and you have to be honest, like, no cheating here. Um, so quickly, name something which is soft in texture in your room. Really find it and just name it quickly. Someone wrote me. Okay. Um, Now, something which is rough in texture, something which is rough. I just hope someone doesn't write my boss's attitude. Okay, doormat, my laptop. To me, oh, I forgot to see. Yeah, I have bag, which is rough in texture. Okay, something right above you. When you look up, what do you see? When you look up, what do you see? Fan, tube light, ceiling, wall clock, CC camera, wall ceiling, AC. Okay, and what do you see when you look to your right? What do you see at your right? Co-worker, speaker, puja room. Yeah, all of us are joining from so many different spaces. Now, left, quick. What do you see at your left? Someone wrote my manager. Okay. Boss cabin. Okay. Okay. So now we are aware about our space, and if you had your videos on, I would have done one more activity which you can do in routine. So I'll just do it with Padma and Abhishek since you are here. So in this activity, you have to point, okay, whatever I say, you have to point towards something which is white in color. Point towards something black. Point towards something brown. Point towards something which is funny in your room. Okay. Point towards something which is your favorite thing in this room. Your favorite. Yeah, for me as well. It's my cup. Okay. Cheers. Okay, great. Ah, and so now we are aware of our body, we are aware about the space we are sitting in, and now for the body we'll just give our body some stretch which we are not able to, some actions which we are not at all able to, allowed at a workspace to do while being in a meeting. Like as a therapist, while being in a meeting, I can't yawn. So I'll just do that. So you also have to find an action like that, like a stretch, or like just sitting from your chair. It can be a big, huge yawn. Oh, Abhishek is closing their ears. And now we bring our attention back to the screen, to the people we are supposed to spend next half an hour with. Okay, so now again, we are going to use a chat box for it. So name any few rituals that you do through the day. So rituals, is a set of actions that are repetitive and are a part of your routine, which you almost do daily. Like I have this ritual that every morning when I wake up, I started by having a warm glass of water. It's a ritual which I do. Another ritual which I have is like after my meetings, I close the laptop and I take a walk in my balcony. So we have to write such rituals that we have. It can be anything, your own personalized rituals. I'm reading the responses in the chat box. Very interesting responses. Lunchbox to kid. Hmm. Drink. Oil pulling. Really heartwarming rituals. These, like, I'm really smiling by looking at your responses.
A couple of people said that they, look at their palm and hand.
Yeah,
That's really interesting.
yeah, yeah. Many of us shared that. Looking at the plants and just like noticing like how we might not even know each other, but still how some of us share, some common rituals, and some of us have some different diverse rituals as well. Okay, so now we'll come back to the work. Okay, so we'll try to see uh, during the pandemic or like post pandemic as well. What are some of the rituals that you used to do before the pandemic, which you have lost during or after the pandemic, especially in your workspace? Some of the things that you used to do before, during, or after the work, which you have lost now or which you miss now. Office activities, visit to the office, workout. I have developed new rituals rather than losing interesting. Thanks for sharing that. Office get together, taking kid to park, Friday parties, morning walk. One of the rituals which I have lost is like many of my therapy friends, like when we talk, we share this with each other that when we used to work from a clinic, like after the client sessions, we had this habit of talking to each other, like about anything which used to, really help us to get out of the sessions and really burst our stress. But um, during like the online sessions, we feel much more isolated. Like we have forgotten, that sense of like what it was to randomly speak to a colleague in between of the sessions.
Which I think also brings us to the same point that you discussed earlier about how important our space is. Because I think for a psychologist or a therapist, their room is almost their only tool of communicating in the best way possible, because it defines so many things like their comfortable chairs, the way they make sure that the client is seated, everything sort of matters a lot. So I think it does play a big role.
Yeah, absolutely, Abhishek. Really thanking you for your inputs. And um like I also try to imagine like how the role of spaces for those of us who even have like just table jobs, like just working on the laptop. So like it plays a huge role in our movement and like how our physical health is. Like if after the meeting, there is a difference if you are taking the meeting from your bed, where after the meeting you just sleep, or after the meeting you have to prepare lunch for your kid, versus when working from the office you might been shifting from one room to the another, or just taking a walk down for a chai from your office. So these all things, like I'm just asking this question because this is something when I had been working with offices during the pandemic and after it. um I don't know like if this is post pandemic period or not even. So um we have seen like a lot of difference which has arised due to the changes in our movement, which can be about a very simple movement. Like I said, like going down the stairs to have a chai during the break has impacted our mental health in a lot of ways which we do not even realize. So maybe like we can reflect upon what are the rituals that we are missing upon and which we can add to our routine again, for our better mental health or for our stress management. Okay. So like like this thing about preparing lunch for my kid, like after the meeting, it really reminds me of how during work from home, or even when we are working from the office, we take so many different roles other than just being an employee or a boss or a manager at our work. So now I will like to invite all of you to share in the chat box what are the 3 to 4 different roles which you take up in your life through your day. What are those 3 to 4 different roles which you take?
I think we're slowly sliding into the topic of drama and getting into role play now. I think this is getting really interesting. There are so many roles that I think a lot of us might not kind of even recall, but while reading the chat, I think so many people can even
Hmm.
identify, different roles that they really share.
Yeah, yeah. What are the different roles which you take up, Abhishek?
Um, so I kind of wrote the most different things other than family roles. So I wrote employee, I wrote housemaster because I also own a house. I
Hmm.
wrote vehicle owner because that is also some kind of a responsibility. Then there
Yeah.
is probably like say you are an admin at a various number of WhatsApp groups. Say you're a
Yeah.
leader at some kind of a
Yeah,
community,
that's a big responsibility.
especially if it's a trip for Goa. I think
Oh,
you are the one who's to be the most called out for.
yeah. Society chairman.
Hmm.
हेलो
And like also, while doing this activity, being aware about like the
वो
different
बता
roles,
दिया उनको
but
खोल रहा
as well as also being aware about like, the different roles which your
was not
co-workers
busy.
might also be juggling with while working with you. Sometimes we end up putting our
Right.
co-workers also, just in one single role, and we forget that there's so many other things than, just being our co-worker. Okay. And now, as Abhishek had mentioned, now we are sliding into a bit of drama. Um, Now I'll make it like a bit more explorative for us, where I would require all of you to participate. So you don't have to, go here and there to find the object. So in this activity, for each role, we find an object which represents that role or with which we associate that role, which, best expresses that role for us. So these can be simple objects from your table, from your room, and you can also, like imagine like if this is a specs, this can I can also call it as a mobile phone. Like we can be, be creative like kids here. And once you have found your objects, you can write down the names of those objects. So my objects are like for my role as a therapist, I have like taken these specs, especially when I want to look a bit older than my age. Um, for my role as a partner, I have taken up this cup so that I don't forget to like spend a bit of time with them and chill. Um, for my role as a bua to my niece, I have taken this because like it's actually for like itching, but she really likes to like play with it and hit me and everything. So I have taken this. And now like really spending time with these different objects like one by one. So let's do this. Just pick um, one role out of these which you really like and you would like to explore for today. So like if I have picked this up, Khushli Ka Kankha, and I'm really getting into like how I feel when I'm in the role of a bua to my niece through the day. And would invite, since Padma and Abhishek have their videos on, to share their objects as well, if that's comfortable.
Sure. So I have my bike keys that I use it as a as a means to depict my role as my vehicle owner, and I think this really expresses a lot of my emotions because it's one object that I never forget to sort of take wherever I go, even if I'm not riding the bike. It just gives me a sense of belongingness, makes me feel that I have some object that I really possess, that I really own it, and it's completely owned and has an ownership of my name on it. So it gives me a sense of comfort and a feeling of belongingness. say even if I'm stranded on a road, and there's probably like no cab that I'm getting or no vehicle that I'm getting. And this is one thing that sort of reminds me that I have a vehicle of my own, and I have a sense of belongingness, and I can take that wherever I go. So I think that that really defines my love for
Mm.
the possessions that I have.
Wow, like that's like such, like in-depth relationship with your bike. And I'm really just trying to imagine like how much it means for you. And what about other roles? Were you able to find other objects as well?
So I have my access card, which is basically like an ID card uh, for me to access every floor on this organization of this building, in fact. And this is not just limited to my office and my work. Now, the way I associate this card is also like a key to different avenues, different opportunities in life. This is like a master key to meet a lot of people, right? Even if I am working on the fifth floor, I can use this master key to go and meet someone on the first floor, on the second floor, on the third floor, which also defines that I'm a networking person, right? So I really love networking. I like meeting new people. So this is another possession that defines my personality as a networking enthusiast.
Hmm. Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that with all of us, Abhishek. Like, that's quite profound reflections. Now, Padma, would you like to share one of your objects?
Sure. So I have this bullet journal with me. So
Hmm.
it has these grids, which is very appealing to me. I don't prefer plain or ruled ones. I prefer the dotted ones. So I kind of associate with this because it makes me feel like I'm more organized. I'm more
Hmm.
organized as a person. So one is that. The other one that I have is my music instrument. So like whenever I get the time, I go inside the room and play. So this is something that I associate with myself as a
Hmm.
seeker, like a learner basically, a seeker or a
Just
learner
strum
who
it
wants.
once. Like, I'm really, really feeling like hearing a bit of strumming.
Just strumming, or you want me to kind of play something, or anything? I think strumming is better.
We don't have time for that, but I would have loved it.
Basically, yeah,
How
just
would you give a background music to us?
background music.
Yeah, like just played in a bit of like a low voice.
Probably
Tell
like the
talking,
most dramatic
like
tune you can play to define today's topic. Like say it's
yeah,
drama therapy, like the most dramatic tune you could ever play.
Dramatic tune. I can play some movie songs if that's okay.
yeah.
It's just random thing.
What,
Suddenly,
what was the song? I'm trying to recall.
I think now you can.
Oh, love me like you do. La la, love me like you do. Love me like you do.
Yeah,
La la, love me like
Ah,
you
okay.
do.
yeah, that's
Thank
the
you
song.
so much, Padma, for playing that for us. Since you did that, I would like to come back to a very quick question before Shruti resumes. So, to all the attendees, if you guys remember in the previous session, I disclosed that we're going to have a session on music therapy. So, now that Padma has given that dramatic tune and that beautiful song that she's played for us, I want to tell you that we're going to have our next Wellness Wednesday session on music therapy. And I really want all of you to be a part of this because it's going to be very, very immersive. It's going to be very much connected to whatever you've been learning in drama therapy and in your previous session of doodling. So please, please feel free to join us in the next session as well. Shruti, please continue.
Yeah, yeah. So now, like, I would invite um some of you, like who would like to unmute yourself and share about your objects and like how you feel in that particular role. Like, of course, like feel free to use the chat box, but like it would be great if we could make it a bit more interactive by hearing your inputs, like how this activity was for you. to just get into different roles? You can raise your hand if you want to share. Gautam. Thank you, Gautam, for raising your hand. Yes, Gautam, you can go ahead and share by unmuting yourself.
Hi, Shruti,
Hi.
and hello everyone, all the participants. I am Gautam Kumar from Mumbai. I would take this opportunity to, a laptop as my, best buddy because, I'm a sales professional and now I'm into customer service. So we had a habit of, carrying laptop everywhere, wherever I go. But you know what happened in the meantime? There were some meetings where laptop was not required. But whenever I don't carry laptop, I don't feel like that I have it something with me. I can present myself or I'm lacking something when I travel. So that is why I would say laptop is the most core related thing to me because before pandemic it was only meant to use for few hours. During pandemic there were most of the times we used to spend on laptop. The recent thing is I met with an accident after Diwali, so I could not go to office. It was laptop only where I used to interact with different kind of people. I can do a lot of work over here. So I think after my family, laptop is my best buddy.
Thank you for sharing that, Gautam ji. And besides that, like, is there any other role you would like to share with us, which you thought about?
Other role, yes, sure. Other role would be my mobile
Hmm.
because mobile is also another buddy wherever if you are alone or if you are not with your family friends, if you are with your mobile, it can give you company, whether it is music, whether it is social media, whether it is connecting with friends and family. It gives you a sort of platform to reconnect with them and takes you far from loneliness, so you don't feel loneliness. So
Hmm.
it helps in reconnecting. So that is why I will also reconnect that mobile is also one of my best buddy.
I think
Yeah.
that really defines how people these days look at gadgets and devices as an extension of the human. And it is so well spoken by you, Gautam, that sort of helps me understand why when we speak about drama or any kind of a object association that Shruti helped us understand right now. It's so important to understand that the products or the objects that we sort of use on a daily basis define who we are, and not just our activities or our behavior or our attitude, but it defines what kind of a person we are, because we associate ourselves with it, right? And it's amazing how you see these digital devices as an extension of you. And I think that what serves the purpose of you going to work, irrespective of whether you need the phone or the laptop, it still helps you do the good meeting, right? Because you have
Right.
that object with you. So I think that really proves Shruti's point of how we sort of associate objects to us. And I think that's the most best example that we could have today. So thank you, Gautam, for sharing.
Thanks.
And I really hope that you recover well, Gautam, from the accident.
Actually, when you were, you started with that raise your hands. So I was trying to hold my this hand and raise it so that I could do it together because I am not able to raise my left hand after that accident.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so till then, like till you're recovering, like perhaps you could just explore with your shoulders to just like this, like when we inhale, like just expanding a bit, and when we exhale, just contracting a bit. Okay.
Okay, okay,
Um,
thanks.
thank you, Gautam. Um, So now, like we have thought about like the different roles that we take up. How about we share any one feeling, one or two feelings that we associate with those different roles? Like, how do we feel most of the time when we are in that role? And I know like it can be a mix of positive and negative feelings, but perhaps we can share, some challenging feeling that we might experience while being in that role. Looking at the chat box. Many of us have written words around exhaustion, responsible. Responsibility is a word which is coming so often here. Yeah, there's so many multiple roles that of a mom, that's often HR, wife, director. Thank you for reflecting on this. And like it can bring up a lot for us. Like it's not something which, we might be thinking about or might be very conscious about as we are living our lives. And but it might be a good idea to just, taking a moment to reflect upon what are the different roles that we are engaging in. So once, like when I was doing a workshop with the teachers, like some teachers told me like how while taking sessions for the students they have to as well cut vegetables because that's something really unavoidable uh, for them in between the classes, as they have the role of a mother as well or a housekeeper as well. And um, the students also shared like how in the break sometimes उनको झाड़ू लगाना पड़ता था अपने घर पे. So these are like the different anecdotes which we might feel relatable to us as well. Um, so now we'll just do a bit of like movement work. I'm just aware like I cannot see all of you, so my pace might vary. So I'll keep my pace according to those whom I can see in the video. So when I um, count from 1 to 10, we step into one of our roles. Like for the role of a therapist, I got this specs. And then when I count back from 10 to 1, we get out of this role. And again, as I count from 1 to 10, we take up another role, like that of a Pua. Then again, getting rid of that role, then again transitioning into another role. And while we do this, we remain aware about how we feel when we are stepping into this role. And these transitions might also allow us to discover our own unique rituals that we might need to step in and out from one role to the another. So, one, two, three, four, five. Notice how your body language might be different for each role. Six, seven, eight, nine, and 10. Now, stepping out of this role and transitioning into the second role. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now, again, transitioning from this role to the next role. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spending some time with it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now getting out of this again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we are back to our role as a participant. And if we could have had this workshop in person, or if we had the privilege of our videos being there, so this engagement can get more in depth as well, where with each role we spend much more time to see really how we feel in our body, what are the different thoughts which come to us, what are the different emotions we feel, what are the different challenges we experience. So sometimes when we're just sitting at one place and thinking we're not able to do this, but it can be used as a creative problem solving tool for yourself, like with your co-workers or with your family members, where you just explore how you feel in these different roles. Okay. And we have a few minutes, and for these few minutes, I would like all of you to put in your chat box about your experience, about your learnings, or anything that you're taking from today's workshop, anything
Uh,
new that you're taking
any
from today's
questions
workshop.
that you guys have for Shruti, you can also put it in the Q&A chat right now. And this could be anything with respect to self-awareness, with respect to whatever you learned in today's session. It could be your doubts regarding role plays that you did, or the different emotions that you felt, right? And before we sort of jump into any questions, Shruti, I have one very quick question for you before we sort of end. So, what is your final take on uh, a person's ability to express better if they, sort of explore these art forms like drama? And how do you think it really impacts a person's mental growth over the years? Like, what exactly is it, and why do people really need to find drama as a way of expressing their emotions better?
Okay, so one most simple answer which I can give is because it's very natural to us as human beings. So because our culture is formed in such a way, our education system, our work culture is in a way where we get further away from these different tools of expression like movement, drama, pretend play. But if we go back to her childhood days, uh we'll really notice how dramatization or just engaging in pretend play was so natural to us. Like when a baby is born, they don't naturally know how to speak, but they still know how to express their own selves. So when we engage in these art forms, like the main idea is that it takes us back to something which is very organic, which is natural to us as human beings, and something which we can reconnect with, as that opportunity might not be there in our daily life. And when we do not have that opportunity, we don't even realize what we are missing upon. We might be missing upon some of our emotions, some of our creativity, some of our imagination. And when we engage with it, it's almost like engaging with our own treasures which are there inside of us, which we can gain access to. So the reason why, in a self-care workshop, I do not prefer to give the tools for self-care, because self-care can look very different for everyone. So the main idea is that the better we are aware about our own selves, the better we are aware about our own emotions or our daily routine, how we are feeling, then all of us are capable enough to discover our own tools on our own at our own pace. So I hope like this answered your question.
Yeah, yeah.
Just checking the chat box.
Thank you, Abdul, Gautam, Priyanka. Thank you guys for joining. How to let go of overthinking, Priyanka asks. Maybe an art form of drama that could help.
Yeah, so like I would say, like like the first step is always to explore what is, like, why do we need it? Because it's not something which we do intentionally. Like, everyone might ask us to, why are you thinking so much? We might tell ourselves so often, like, why can't I just stop? But mainly it has so many reasons why we might be engaging in overthinking. So I think more self-awareness tools, more tools to be able to express our emotions, be able to get in touch with our anxieties, might help us to explore our relationship with our thoughts better. So like, as a therapist, I do not recommend any quick tools to do that, because if that was possible, then you wouldn't be asking me that question. So like, really try to explore what might be safe spaces for you to be able to explore your thoughts, instead of forcefully trying to get rid of them, because those are your thoughts, they're valuable and they are there for a reason. So perhaps being able to get more in touch of them instead of pushing them out.
I hope, Priyanka, that answered your question. All right. Great, wonderful. All right. With that, we come to the end of the Q&A. Thank you so much, Shruti and Padma, for joining us today from Manushala. It's been a wonderful session. There's so much that I am taking back today with me, and I think all of us have, learned a lot about drama and about expressing better. And I think one of my best takeaways would be to understand how to go back to your core and feel something that is very rooted within you, right? So I think drama has that kind of an impact on me from today because of you, Shruti. And I think this is what we should sort of spread this message of wellness to all of us around us. And thank you once again for giving your time and your efforts to this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for facilitating this, for giving your valuable inputs, and thank you everyone for like really participating in the ways you could from your own different spaces. And thank you, Padma. Okay, so with this, I'll say a goodbye to all of you. Bye bye.
Bye, bye, Shruti. Bye, thank you.